Welcome to this explainer. Take a deep breath. Right now, if you're joining me today, there's a very good chance you are carrying the heavy, exhausting weight of modern life. You're stretched thin, you're tired, and you're probably looking for a real, science-backed way out of the fog. Well, today, we're going to explore a true revolution in modern neuroscience. We are talking about a precise, biological roadmap to building actual emotional resilience.
It's a question we've all asked ourselves, usually staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, right? Why does modern burnout feel absolutely impossible to shake? You try getting 8 hours of sleep, you buy the organic coffee, you listen to all the motivational advice, but that heavy, dense brain fog just won't lift. Why? Well, it's because you might be trying to heal the wrong organ. To truly understand burnout, we have to stop looking exclusively at the head.
Section 1. The second brain secret. The biological control panel hidden in your gut. Okay, let's dive right into this. 500 million, half a billion. That is the staggering number of neurons actively lining your gastrointestinal tract. Your gut isn't just some tube that passively processes your lunch. It is, quite literally, a second brain operating with incredible sophistication. It finally explains where all those intuitive gut feelings actually come from. And this second brain? It's busy manufacturing the exact chemicals that dictate your mood every single day. Here's a statistic that is just mind-bending. 90%, roughly 90% of your body's serotonin is manufactured directly in your digestive tract. Now, serotonin is the absolutely crucial, foundational hormone for mood stability, emotional regulation, and deep restorative sleep. So if you're feeling emotionally fragile lately, the root cause might just be an assembly line issue down in your gut. And it doesn't even stop with serotonin. A full 50% of your dopamine, the neurochemical strictly linked to your sense of reward, motivation, and sharp cognitive focus, while half of that originates in the gut, too. When your microbial balance is off, your drive and mental clarity literally vanish. You aren't lazy, actually. You might just be microbially depleted.
Section 2. The vagus superhighway. How the gut and brain communicate.
Now, what's absolutely fascinating here is the direction of the traffic. The vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in your body. It essentially acts as this high-speed, fiber optic data cable connecting your two brains. But get this, 80 to 90% of its nerve fibers are dedicated to sending sensory information up from the gut microbiome to the brain. Your brain isn't doing most of the talking, it's doing the listening. Your gut is literally telling your brain how to feel. So through this superhighway, your gut microbes are constantly shipping out neuroactive compounds. Beyond just serotonin and dopamine, specific microbial strains directly produce GABA. And GABA is essentially the body's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter. It's the chemical equivalent of hitting the brakes on a racing, anxious mind. It travels up this superhighway to dampen panic and induce a state of calm, while short-chain fatty acids act as powerful anti-inflammatories to protect your brain's long-term health.
Section 3. The cortisol stress loop. How chronic stress destroys the body.
Now, we have to talk about the villain of our story, and it all centers around the HPA axis. This is the intricate endocrine system that governs exactly how your body reacts to stressful situations by releasing cortisol. In our modern, always-on, hyper-connected world, chronic psychological stress leaves this HPA axis in a state of constant, damaging overdrive. The alarm bell simply never shuts off.
Let's actually walk through how this builds into a total system failure, because it's like falling dominoes. It starts with chronic psychological stress. Maybe it's a toxic boss, financial worry, or chronic sleep deprivation. That triggers step 2, elevated cortisol. But here is the biological tragedy. High cortisol directly damages your gut lining, leading to step 3, gut dysbiosis and permeability, which you've probably heard called leaky gut. Once that barrier is breached, we hit step 4, systemic inflammation. And finally, step 5, that inflammation travels right back up to the brain, manifesting as deep depression and heavy cognitive fatigue.
As this stress cascade happens, the actual population of your gut's neighborhood completely changes. You start losing the good guys. These are beneficial strains like Faecobacterium and Bifidobacterium that produce anti-inflammatory compounds and naturally lower your anxiety. And in their place, inflammatory bacterium like Alostipes and Clostridium difficile absolutely thrive. They multiply, promote systemic inflammation, and actively disrupt your brain's delicate neurotransmitter production. The consequences of this microscopic shift are incredibly severe, and they are entirely measurable. Just look at this finding from clinical research. An elevated presence of C. difficile is associated with a 36% higher risk of depression. 36%! I mean, think about that for a second.
This exhaustion isn't just in your head, it is deeply physically rooted in your biology.
Section 4. Microbes for the mind. Enter the psychobiotic.
But listen, there is profound hope here. We can hack this system. The new frontier of neuroscience isn't some synthetic pill. It's the psychobiotic. Psychobiotics are targeted probiotics and prebiotics specifically selected for their unique ability to confirm mental health benefits and actively regulate your central nervous system. They are essentially microscopic mood regulators.
Clinical trials are proving right now that consuming specific bacterial strains offers a completely novel, biology-first approach to treating burnout. Strains like Lactobacillus plantarum PS128 and Bifidobacterium longum have actually been shown to reduce circulating cortisol, mitigate acute stress, and significantly improve your sleep. They step in, interrupt the stress cycle at the biological level, and help normalize that overworked HPA axis. And this brilliantly illustrates the multi-layered mechanism psychobiotics use to restore your system. They enhance your GABA and serotonin. They literally patch up and strengthen the intestinal barrier, limiting toxic leakage into your bloodstream. This directly reduces neuroinflammation, meaning it physically calms the fear center in your brain, the amygdala, and ultimately lowers those circulating cortisol levels. It is quite literally a full-body reset.
Section 5. The psychobiotic protocol. The recovery protocol for nervous system regulation.
So how do we actually bring this into our daily lives? True gut recovery relies on two distinct pillars. First up, dietary fiber. These are your prebiotics, everyday foods like onions, oats, and bananas. Think of prebiotics as the fertilizer for the good bacteria you already have in your system. Second, fermented foods. Things like kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha. These act as the actual seeds, delivering live beneficial microbes to increase the diversity of your gut population. You really need both working together to maximize your emotional resilience.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is putting this roadmap into action. Clinical data suggest aiming for these targets. Try hitting 6 to 8 servings of prebiotic fruits and vegetables daily, 5 to 8 servings of whole grains, 2 to 3 servings of fermented foods every single day, and 3 to 4 servings of legumes per week. This isn't just another diet. It is a targeted, biological intervention to combat burnout, lower your cortisol, and finally lift that brain fog, starting with your very next meal.
Which leaves us with one final, vital thought to reflect on. Knowing what you know now about this staggering superhighway connection between your microbiome and your mind, is your next meal an act of neurooptimization? Because you actually have the power to feed your focus, calm your nervous system, and conquer modern burnout from the inside out. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay curious, take care of your gut, and I'll see you next time.